Most people trying to get into wholesaling think you need money, a marketing budget, or a seller to talk to in order to close deals, but you actually don't need any of that. In this video today, I'm going to be walking you guys through a live battle plan call that I had with one of my clients, Matthew, where he actually took a live call from a wholesaler mid-session while we were talking and working together. Now, he's never done a deal before, but right in front of him, he was able to talk to the wholesaler and get the right information that he needed for them in order to start working this JV deal. And he worked it like a pro. And even with a couple tiny tweaks, he's going to be way better. In this video, you're going to see exactly how he found the deal, how he handled the conversation, and the exact step-by-step game plan that I gave him to go find a buyer for that specific deal and get paid. This is actually what JV wholesaling looks like in real life. So let's get right into it.
Excuse me 1 second.
Yeah.
Oh, hello? It's going okay. How can I help you?
Buyer for anything over our asking price at 129. I can't get you that at closing. We'll put it on a contract as a referral fee or buyer commission, however you want to word it. We'll put it on there. Make sure you get paid that out to closing as well. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Sure. So that's how we can do that. Do you have somebody that wants to see it or somebody that's interested in it?
I have somebody. He doesn't normally work in that neighborhood, but a few neighborhoods over, he was asking for deals, and this is in his ballpark. I just don't know if it's something he wants to work on or not.
Yeah, I mean it's a big house. It's 3,600 square foot house. It's a high price point. It's got a lot to get it up to standards in that neighborhood. I'm sure Terra Hills is probably top 3 neighborhoods in San Antonio. So it's got to be a bigger project, not necessarily because it needs a lot of work, but because you kind of have to put more effort into it. If that makes sense.
3,600 square foot. Yeah.
So we can definitely make something work. If he wants to go check it out, just let me know. We can set that up and we can kind of go from there.
Now is 429 your absolute bottom? If he comes in close, can we still work something?
Honestly, I can't guarantee anything because of where this is at. I know there's a lot here in the house. I think we had a bunch of showings on Friday and Thursday last week. So I can't guarantee, but I can always ask. I can get something done, but I can't necessarily say yes for sure.
I understand. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, Matt, ask him this question really quick.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, so Matt, ask him if you reach out to him and a couple other your buyers, how much time do you have to work this before they accept an offer? Because you don't want to be working this thing and they accept some today.
Okay. How much time do we have to work with? I mean, if it, I don't know if you've got offers on the table already or.
To be honest, I'm not entirely sure if we have any offers on the table right now. But I can't say everything's first come first serve with us. So it could sell in an hour. It could sell in a week. I really couldn't tell you.
So you've locked up this property and do you have a closing date already, or is that dependent on your buyer?
Let me see. I think we do have a closing. I want to say extended. My closing date's normally not too difficult for us to negotiate if necessary.
Okay.
It is May 17th. Yeah, so we got a few weeks.
May 17th. Okay. So
and I think it's a Sunday too, so I guess it would have to be the day after. May 18th.
Okay.
Yeah, just let me know if there's any questions. I'm happy to help. It is first come first serve, so if you do have somebody interested and you want to go check it out or anything, let me know.
Yeah, that sounds great.
And then, like I said, if it does end up selling, I'll be sure to let you know.
Okay. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you. I'll call you back with any other questions.
All righty. Thank you. Have a good one.
All right. Bye.
So tell me about that deal. Where did you find it? How did you go through the process? Tell me about it.
So that's a deal. There's several groups on Facebook. And this is easily a $800,000 property.
Okay.
And so at 429, it's actually around 60-65%. I don't know about the comps. That they do say it needs some foundation work. Of course I'd love to lowball him, but he's shown it all weekend and he hasn't got any offers. So what's that tell you? I don't know.
Yeah, like when it comes to bigger properties that are like large square footage, high price range, it's harder for people to pull the trigger on those just because it's such a investment, right? It's such a big project.
Yeah, that's what he was saying. And 3,600 square foot on little less than half an acre. And so it's of course it's an older home. I mean, when you look at the pictures on the inside, overall it's in great shape. I mean, but it also depends on your vision. It could be $1.2 million property if you put a lot of work into the grounds, into making it look like it's I don't know what else to call it, but if someone was going to make this a coffee shop or something with you know, different level terraces and other things like that, I think it could easily be $1 million property.
There's two ways to go about it. You either have investor base, which is a paid service that lets you look up properties. There's a training on it, and then you can find buyers and call them and ask them to go look at it, ask them for their price. The thing that's difficult about wholesaling is everybody's got different ideas on what a house is worth. So like everyone could say this house is a terrible deal, and one person could say, you know what, this seems like a good project. So really it's like the money is made in the you know, finding out what buyers are willing to pay, right? And making the calls. So you have an opportunity, right? And you're not going to know really if it's worth your time until you start calling some buyers and getting some of them to take a look or their feedback on it. And but you've already bypassed the having to find a deal yourself and generate a motivated seller. It's there, right? So now you got to do the work and find a buyer. So investor base, you go in there, you plug all your information in of the property, and then it will give you, there's a training on it, right? And that is the process, right? And the process is going back and forth, getting someone to look at it, going back to them. Now they're saying, he was saying, I don't know if we can go any lower. Who knows? Who knows if they have a $50,000 wholesale fee baked in or a 5? But really the goal is to get somebody that wants it, and then you're able to really make some work. Because if you have the buyer and they don't, they're gonna flex, like they're gonna move, so you can get it, like so they can get it closed and you can get paid. For some reason, this is not a investor base is not working. So let me show you what else I would do to find a buyer. So we go here, and then you can see if there's any properties around here that look like they've been flipped. That's what I do in this situation. That's all. So let me put in the address here. All right. So then I zoom out a little bit. This is where our property is. So I will look and see if any of these look like they've been flipped recently. And there's other softwares that can let you know if something's been flipped or not. You'd basically call one of these real estate agents or a buyer in the area, and you'd say, hey, I'm negotiating with the seller right now, and I'm trying to wholesale a property. I have a good deal, and I think your buyer, or if you're the buyer or whoever you represent, would be interested in this property because it's I have it at a good deal. So you basically just start off telling them what you're calling about. I have a property I think you'd be interested in, or the buyer that you represent. Tell them a little bit about it. If it's easier if it's not on the MLS, because if it's on the MLS, they can just go there and they can just talk to the buyer. They can just make a call directly if they wanted to. Not that they necessarily would or do, but when you have it off market, right? There's not on the MLS. It's easier because you have that information.
More exclusive, yeah.
More exclusive. Now, the fact that it's not exclusive, that's okay. It's just not as easy to keep that information. But you could just say, hey, look, I'm talking. We have this house under contract. We're trying to wholesale it. I'm wondering if you or one of your buyers would be interested. We have it at a good price. I believe that it's worth blank fixed up. Do you think you'd have anyone that would be interested? It's just relaying that information to them and seeing.
You're not really asking them, do you know anybody who would be interested? And if they're interested, they'll say, oh yeah, I'm interested in that. Or, oh, you want to talk to Joe.
You would, if it's a real estate agent, you would say, hey, do you have any buyers that would be interested in this property? Or maybe you, if it's a real estate agent, right? Because if it's a real estate agent, then you'll pay them a commission. You'll give them a little bit of your cut if they can bring somebody to the deal. Now, if it's not on the MLS and you're calling an agent, same thing applies, right? Like, hey, do you know anybody? Now, if it's not an agent, it's a buyer, then it's, hey, I got a property I think you might be interested in. I've seen you flip some properties in the area. What would you pay for something like this? Would you be interested in something like this? I think I can get a good deal for you. That's what you're doing. Now, what we're thinking is these guys that are dispoing this deal that you got it from, they're probably just email blasting out, hoping somebody will call them. What we do is we find an opportunity and then we make the calls, we do the effort, we build the relationships. And as you keep doing this, it's as easy as a text message for someone that you know. It's like, hey, John, I think this might be something up your alley, right? As you build those relationships. Get everyone to go see any property you're looking at. If they'll go walk it, you're talking to a real buyer. Wholesalers won't go look at a house. They won't. And so if you're ever wonder if you're talking to a wholesaler or not, just tell them to go see it.
One last question. Do I need to be there for the close, or is that just something I let them handle and then I wait for my check?
So when a property closes, the only thing you need to do is you need to connect the buyer with the wholesaler through you would sign an agreement with them, have them connect you with the title company they're closing at, and you would give that title company your bank account information. So when it closes, the title company will pay you out. You don't need to be there for closing. You just need to make sure that you have an agreement so you get paid when it closes. So everything's virtual. You don't have to go anywhere, meet anyone, do anything.
So I bring this dealer to this guy and a buyer to this guy, and then at some point I got to get a contract with both of them.
That's right. So there's so many different ways to do it. And the most legit way in the beginning, when you don't really have a good relationship with anyone or don't maybe trust anyone, you would talk to the wholesaler and you say, hey, I have a buyer. We can, let's JV on this deal and I'll connect you to him. But first we're going to sign an agreement saying that we're going to split this deal 50-50.
Before I even let the buyer see it.
No, before you give the buyer to the wholesaler. You can still let the buyer go see the property. You can still do all without signing an agreement. The only thing is when they do accept the buyer, you would say, hey, let's sign in a JV agreement and then we'll split the deal 50-50 or whatever you agree on. Once they sign the agreement, you would connect your buyer and say, hey, these are the people we're working with. John, this is James. They connect. You already have the paperwork in place. You make sure that they connect you to the title company they're closing at. And then you would say, hey, I'm the person on the JV agreement. Here's my bank account info. And the title company will pay you when the deal closes. So you're not connecting the buyer to the wholesaler until you have an agreed agreement. Sign. The reason why I say there's 1,000 ways to do this is because if you're cool with the wholesaler and you trust them, then you can just give them the buyer without signing anything. And then you would just tell the title company, hey, pay me out. And then they'll pay you out. The agreement is formality, really. They'll pay you out.
It's a CYA, but they'll still pay you out without it.
Yeah, exactly. And there's other ways, like if the wholesaler doesn't want to pay you for some reason, but you've negotiated with the buyer, you can say, hey, buyer, you're going to give me $5,000 for bringing in this deal, $3,000, whatever. At the close, you would have an agreement with the buyer, right? You could do an invoice. You could say, hey, you're going to pay me $3,000 at close. Title will send you $3,000 at close because you had an agreement, an invoice with the buyer. So a lot of different ways to skin a cat. But when it comes to JVing with another wholesaler, JV agreement, sign, connect them, make sure that they connected you to the title company so you could give them your wiring information, your bank info. That's what JV wholesaling looks like when you actually take action. Now, Matthew found a deal, then he handled the call with the live wholesaler, and he'd never done it before, but like I said, he handled it like a pro. There's no marketing budget. He didn't have to invest any money, no cold calling random sellers and having them yell at you, no experience needed. You just got to take action. If you want me to walk you through this personally and give you that specific guidance so you know exactly what you need to do in your business, all you got to do is click on the link below and book a call. And I'll be able to sit down and work with you specifically in order to help you scale and grow your business. Now, if you found this video helpful, please check out the next video on the next page, and we'll see you on the next one.